this score calculated. And so I'm searching with suitability, availability, location, and then overall. So these are the people who are suitable. Suitable because I'm not searching in qualifications in this example. Available, so they're available to staff to the project, and they're in the right location. Now what I can also do is I can say, well, that's fine, but I want to look at one of these resources and see what their profile is like for the coming weeks. So in that case, I can just highlight Haggerty and then click on the chart button, and I can see what the role demand is and what the availability is. So you can see I'm going to have a problem in week 10 with Haggerty, but other than that, week 9 is a little bit close, but I'm good to go. Now, what I just showed you was from a project-centric view, but in a lot of cases, companies are run with a full PMO, and they have dedicated resource managers. Now, the resource managers live in this resource management tab, and so you have a resource pool, and these are the people that are within your resource pool. Okay, so that's the first screen you see is resources pool. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the overview, because then I can drill in and I can see what my people are working on. So for example, Haggerty, I can see his availability, I can see what's remaining, and I can see what's consuming that availability. And I can drill into the projects, and I can actually look at the roles on those projects and whether he's hard booked or soft booked. So that's very powerful. The alternative view is the staffing view, whereby I can view from a project demand coming in and see where the roles that I'm responsible for, where I have a need, and then I can staff from my resource pool. So the first view was really a look at from my resource pools, who's green, who's red, who's properly allocated. This view is, okay, I have all these projects requesting demand of my roles, and this is the screen I use to manage that. So the two screens are variations of the same data. But once again, I can drill down through my projects, and I can see, what roles I need to assign to. And there's very powerful capability in here to filter to the projects and the roles that I'm responsible for. You may be responsible as a resource manager for projects across the world for one or two given roles. In that case, you'll see every single project across the world that has a need for those roles that you're responsible for. So very powerful from the perspective of the resource manager as well. Now, circling back and starting to wrap up here, I wanted to show you how the integration works to the back end in terms of from an accounting perspective. And so what we have here within our portfolio project, our project, we see here now that we have the resource breakdown on the left, and then we have the cost calculated on the right. Now this is a front end to easy cost planning that's actually taking place within the internal order that was automatically calculated or created and generated and planned based on the configuration. So in this particular scenario, my high-level portfolio item triggered a project where I went in and planned all my roles and staffed my roles, and that project automatically creates an internal order. That internal order is then, through easy cost planning, populated with the planned cost to the cost plan version, typically version 0. And additionally, the people are tagged to that internal order in their CATS work list. So now when I go into CATS, I can actually see that internal order appear on my work list and then charge time to. So that's the kind of the closing of the loop where I'm actually monitoring my execution. Now within the internal order launch capability within PPM 5.0, the latest version, there's some really deep integration whereby I can create services that allow me to edit the internal order directly, display it, change the plan, change the budget, launch easy cost planning, and so on and so forth. So very powerful integration. And when we set these systems up, and all that data that was entered at the item at the high level cascades down using something called decision flow management. It flows down into the project and then down into the internal order. Now you can also have this set up for PS projects using WBS structures as well. So this is all standard stuff you're seeing here. Nothing here is custom in any way. And here's my CAT's timesheet in the back end, and you can see in the work list at the top half of the screen that those are the projects that are flowing through from PPM into CAT. So it's very easy for me to select the project and then book the time to it. Just wrapping up, when all that information flows up to the portfolio item, I now have these dashboards and reports, what they call BCV, Business Context Viewer, sometimes known as a side panel, and they run the new GyanSys tool that the SAP acquired a couple of years ago. One of the things about PPM and also PLM to a degree is that these tools really are at the cutting edge of SAP technology. So when SAP launched the new NetWeaver Business Client application, then PPM was one of the first applications to go live with NWBC. And what you're seeing here, these are NetWeaver Business Client screens. So it's actually the client installed on your computer, and this is the user interface you get. It's very, very nice. So in time, all the SAP transactions will start to look more like this, but PPM is right at the front end of the curve here. Finally, everything at the resource level has a financial component to a rate, planned rate, and actual rate, and so on and so forth. And all those costs are calculated and rolled up into the portfolio item, and then all the way aggregated through the bucket structure. So we're not just dealing with resources and hours, we're also dealing with costs and dollars. And so this is the screen, the financial planning screen, where you see all those costs appear. And it's not just labor, of course. I've got material, I've got overhead, and so on and so forth. This screen, like the other screens for capacities, is fully configurable and fully integrated to your ECC backend. So all that is out of the box, very powerful capability with SAP PPM. And that's pretty much it for me from the screens. We have time for questions. I'm going to hand back to John, and what I'll do is I'll fire up our live system so we can maybe answer some of those questions in the actual system.
Sure. Well, the first question that we got, actually a couple of them got answered throughout your presentation that some folks asked, which was excellent. First question we got was kind of tied more to higher levels. How long does a typical PPM implementation take?
Well, I think to answer that question, I'd refer you back to our rapid deployment solution, where, I mean, to do it in any less than 7 weeks would be a stretch. Within 3 months or 13 weeks, you can certainly have a very good solution up and running. Now, if you really want to go custom and specify a whole bunch of stuff for your own company, then it can take longer than that, maybe up to 6 months. But 3 months to 6 months is a normal time frame.
Okay, good. We got 4 more. Are there master projects in PPM? Master plans.
Master projects, like programs, yes, there are. So what we actually have here is we've got something called the initiative, and let's just take a look and see if we can see any initiatives in the live system. So initiatives really are groupings of projects, and there's a lot of functionality within the initiative that allows you to score, calculate the cost and the resources. It's recompiling this transaction, but yeah.
Yeah, the program.
There's very good functionality there.
There it is.
That's the initiative.
Excellent. The other question, we just got another one in. Isn't the cost